Tonight we have 6 verses. This sermon is only going to cover 6 verses. When I originally recorded this sermon, I had a lot of verses in a lot of different places, and I'm glad that God didn't let the microphone work and that it wasn't just a huge mess of a study like I had probably made it. We're going to be looking in 1 John chapter 3 verses 16, 17, and 18, and then we'll jump back a chapter, 1 John chapter 2 verses 15, 16, and 17. I want to look at the 2 groups separately, and then we can check them out together. So, 1 John chapter 3 verse 16. By this we know love, because he laid down his life for us, and we also ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. But whoever has this world's goods and sees his brother in need and shuts up his heart from him, how does the love of God abide in him? My little children, let us not love in word or in tongue, but in deed and in truth. And that's amazing. It's amazing. I like it a lot because it talks about Christ, and then it goes into how we should be living like Christ. Christianity isn't just a religion. We're supposed to be imitators of Christ, imitators of God. We're supposed to look at him and follow his examples. I believe in a past sermon I had talked about when I was going to be deployed, when I thought I was going to be deployed to Iraq. I wanted to go down there and lay down my life. That's how I wanted to die. I wanted the glory of dying in combat, jumping on a grenade for a buddy. I thought that was what laying down my life was. Christ died on a cross, so laying down your life means dying, right? Not necessarily. So let's look at it. Let's check out some of the meanings of those words in Greek, and the little subtleties, the little things that God does in those verses, the way that they're phrased is, well, you'll see. So, Christ laid down his life for us. In the Greek, laying down, it's a process. It's something that takes care and deliberacy. When I get off of work, I come and I sit here in this spot and I take off my boots, and I don't lay them down, I kick them off. When I pull off the socks, I don't lay them down special, I kick them off. But when I'm going, honestly, I don't lay a lot of things down. I throw a lot of stuff around. But if you have something like a baby and you lay the baby down to sleep, you lay it down gently and carefully with purpose to take care of it. You think about that action. It's not just get it done and over with sort of thing. By this we know love, that Christ laid down his life for us. Knowing there, if you met a person and I was talking to you and I was talking about this person, you might go, oh yeah, I know them, meaning you met them once. But this knowing is to perceive, to understand, to come to understand. It's not just an acquaintance sort of thing. I could say, I know Spanish. Me llamo Roberto, tengo 15 años. I just told you my name is Robert. I'm 15 years old. I can say things in Spanish, but it doesn't mean I know it. So by this we know love, that Christ laid down his life for us. What Christ did is he gave it all up for our sakes to reconcile us to God. We're not reconciled with God in that, boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. He said this, she said that, and you know what? We both made mistakes, so we'll meet in the middle sort of deal. No, we messed up, and Christ died to fix that for us. What that accomplishes for our hearts is that when we accept Him, He's in there. And it's not my heart that is still sinful by nature. It's not my mind that's still self-seeking, that's considering the things of God. It's Him moving in there, doing those things within us. So by this we know love, because He laid down His life for us. And we also ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. Lives in the Greek, I'm not going to try and pretend to know how to say these words in the Greek. The notes that I'll be adding will give you links with pronunciation, and you'll be able to look and make sure I'm using it all in context and teaching yourselves a little bit there. But lives, life can refer to the breath, the thing that the force that animates the body. It can also refer to the seat of our feelings, our desires, our affections. So when I was first reading this, when I was first kind of struck by it and started thinking about it, for me, I think the way that I perceive life, or if someone asks me about my life, hey Robert, what's new in your life? Oh, well, my fridge wasn't working and I had to throw away a bunch of the food, but I managed to eat the cheese that was 2 days old and didn't get sick, but by day 3 it was too terrible to eat, which I didn't get sick, but by day 3 it was too terrible to eat. That's how I was approaching life there, but that's not what the verse is talking about. It's talking about the seat, the place where our affections are, where our desires are. And the next chapter will clarify that. Looking in these 3 verses within the context of one another, we'll see that it doesn't necessarily call us, we're not necessarily called to die for other people. We're not necessarily called to be martyrs. Rather, that our lives, it's our desires, the things that we're hoping after, the things that we feel affectionate towards. That's the life that we're called to lay down our lives to. Now Christ, of course, literally died for our sins, but He also gave us an example in His lifestyle on how we ought to live. There's a lot of things that Jesus did that I'm not going to do. I'm not going to walk on water. I don't really care much for water. I drink a lot of it, but you don't know that there aren't sharks in the Columbia River. I don't know that. I'm not afraid of it, but you know what? I don't know, so I'm not going to do it.